to Unpacking Japan. I'm your host, Toby, and today we're welcoming Sally. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Sally, you're an indigo artist living on Awaji Island, and we're going to talk a lot about indigo, which is a very traditional and modern craft at the same time. But before we get into all of that, could you introduce yourself to our listeners?
So I'm from London in England, and I studied illustration and wanted to do something creative, but wasn't sure what exactly. And at some point came to Osaka for working holiday. Actually, before that, I did apply for a JET program and they rejected me.
Oh, no.
I know.
Did they give a reason?
No.
No, it's just like, sorry, you didn't pass.
No, we don't want you. So I was very disappointed and I thought, this is the end of the world. But then I realized I could get a working holiday visa and that was great.
Why did you decide to come to Japan in the first place?
Well, I just wanted to go somewhere a bit different, or quite different, very different. I wanted to go somewhere very different.
UK and Japan is quite a different.
Yeah, I did also consider going to France, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But then Japan won you over.
Yeah, I wanted to just live in somewhere different and speak a different language, and so.
And the first place you went to then was Osaka?
Yeah, chose Osaka, and it was a good choice because it's a fun place when you're, how old was I? 26?
26?
Yeah.
So when you came and you were hoping for something very different, how was it when you first arrived?
It was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad it was like before smartphone era because you're like even more like in the deep end. You just like in the supermarket, like
you can't just pull out Google Translate.
No,
you just gotta find a way to talk to people.
And yeah, it worked out. It's fine. Yeah, I figured it out and made friends. And
is there any memories from those early days where you had like kind of culture shock or something that really took you off guard?
There were lots of things, but like I remember being surprised that people were like riding their bicycles and holding umbrellas at the same time.
Which is, I learned this is technically not allowed.
Oh, but everyone does it.
Now they have these clip-ons as well. You just clip the umbrella to your bicycle, but the angle with the rain, I don't know, it doesn't work.
When I first saw it, I was surprised. And then after a while, I was doing it myself and I thought, wow, I've made it. I'm riding a bike and holding a
You're
body.
a true Osaka-jin.
Yeah.
So what made you move to Awaji after being in Osaka?
So a few things happened. So in the first year when I was doing my working holiday, I met my partner, Junichi, and then we decided, wait a minute, at some point we got married, and at some point we decided to move to England, and then we tried that and it didn't work. We tried that for about a year. And it really didn't suit him, and so
you did go to England and kind of experience
we went together, and living in a tiny flat, and
it's quite different.
Osaka was also quite a small flat, London small flat, and then we're like, next let's go somewhere where we can have a bit more space, think about our careers, like what we want to do, and it's really kind of. We chose to go to the Japanese countryside so we could have like time and space, physical space, and just take it slow and try some different things. So we ended up on Awaji.
Yeah, Awaji is not so far, right? It's for those of you who don't know where it is, it's an island that's basically off the coast of Osaka, Kobe, and linking it to Tokushima and Shikoku Island.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's connected by bridges.
Yeah,
so
very convenient to go. So it's countryside, but still very close to the city if you ever need anything or want to go out a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we came back to Japan and we're considering which place to go to, we did take a little road trip around Shikoku. So we went like to try some different places and tried a little bit of like a woofing world opportunities.
Oh yeah, the woofing is this kind of farming, volunteering / working.
we just tried it a bit. I was also pregnant at that time, so we knew that I wasn't going to be working a lot in the near future, and my partner can do web design remotely, so we were planning that for our income, and then we're going to have a baby, so let's go somewhere like with lots of nature and space. So yeah, we found that
Awaji, your little place, your little piece of paradise in Awaji.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to find somewhere that I could swim in the nature. So
an island usually helps.
Yeah, there's lots of coast. I would have taken a river or a lake, but there aren't many lakes you can swim in Japan, I don't think.
Well, there's Biwa.
Oh yeah,
and maybe smaller ones, but
like reservoirs and stuff, you're not supposed to swim. Anyway,
true.
We found a place with nice beaches that you can swim, and the water is clear, and the seafood is good too.
So after settling in Awaji, how did your interest for indigo dyeing start?
I started with like shibori. So shibori is like tie-dye, I guess, like where shibori is a Japanese word for tie-dye. So it's where you like fold, stitch, clamp, squash the fabric to make patterns when you're dyeing it.
Okay.
So I think before that, years before, I had tried like different kinds of tie-dye techniques, but I wanted to get, like, I'd seen in Japan has like quite advanced, complicated patterns, and I just wanted to know like how are those patterns made. So we got some books and tried them out with a chemical dye but the chemical dye is blue. It's like fake indigo.
Yeah, synthetic.
But that's like what most of all the clothes that you're probably wearing is synthetic dye.
Regular jeans or denim, for example, is done with synthetic dye.
Yeah, today they are.
So if someone is not familiar with indigo or indigo dyeing, how would you define it? What exactly is it, and why is it so unique?
So indigo dyeing, it depends. If you're pedantic, if you're specific about it and you say this is natural indigo, then I think it should be just made from plants. And then, but there is indigo dyeing. I don't want to diss the like people who are making like nice shibori with the chemical dyes. That's cool. That's fine. I've got no problem with them. But I'm doing it the natural way. So like I started with the chemical one too, and then gradually over time I realized like, I want to use the natural way.
So it's basically a very specific color that you create from a type of plant.
Yes.
I think I wrote it down. It's called indigo fera, and then there's different genres inside.
Persicaria tinctoria is the one that
you're using.
No, which one do I use?
Tinctoria, I have it down here as well. But there's many varieties of this plant.
Yeah, so in Japan, we have the Japanese indigo. I think that I'm going to check later. In Japan, there's the plant in Japanese called tadayai, and where they have a different one in Okinawa actually, but maybe that's different climate, so it's different. And then around the world, they have a different plants and different ways to extract the blue from that plant.
Okay.
But there is something unique about indigo compared to other colors and other natural dyes in the way that it is extracted from the plant and onto the fabric. And there's lots of unique things about it, but yeah.
So it's a complex process, and it starts, you brought us a very nice sample here.
Oh yeah.
All right, so these are like the dried leaves with the flowers that you are using from your farm.
Yes.
To make your indigo dye.
Yeah.
So when you arrived and you gave this to us, you said the flowers are actually not used. They're just a natural kind of side product of the plant. And you're using only those leaves.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what is the process of getting indigo?
Okay, so this is the Japanese way that we're doing uses something called sukumo, and the sukumo is made from dried leaves of this plant.
Okay.
So in the summer, we harvest this leaf and we chop it because we don't want the stalk. We only want the leaf.
Okay.
And so we get only the leaves. We collect tons of them, lots and lots, and then harvest 3 times over the summer.
So it grows pretty fast then.
Yeah, it's like a little bush.
Okay.
Or it also looks a bit like a tea farm. You know how it has like
like
bumps.
the little bumps and kind of about, I don't know, 50 centimeter to 1 meter high.
Yeah, not up to a meter, but yeah, up to your thigh, maybe.
So it grows quite fast, and you can harvest it 2 to 3 times in the summer.
In one summer. In the autumn, you get those dried leaves that you've collected and sun-dried, and make a big pile we use a tatami. Big pile on the tatami, add some water, and then naturally it starts to compost to break down, I guess. And it naturally gets very hot, like 70 degrees centigrade.
It just gets hot from being mixed with water.
Yeah, just breaking down. That's just nature, yeah. And that's fermenting. It's a fermenting process. And every 4 days we mix it, add water and add more leaves and mix it. And that takes 3 months. And then that's called sukumo at the end product. And you can keep it in that state for years. And then when you want to make a dye vat, you take the sukumo, put some in, add some hot, it's called lye, like a pH is high, alkaline
water.
Hot alkali water.
Okay.
And then mix it and to wake it up again, I guess, and it starts fermenting again, and then you can use it for dyeing.
So the sukumo is kind of like a paste that gets a bit solid. And,
it just looks like a compost. It looks like earth, yeah.
I see. So it's actually a relatively long process for you to get
just
the sukumo already. Is a couple of months of growing the plant and then drying the plant and then mixing it for, you said 4 months with water every 4 days.
Yeah.
And then you have sukumo. And then you can start using it by mixing it with alkaline water.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then to maintain, that's not even the end. Then to maintain the vat also, you need to take care of the temperature, the pH, and mix it sometimes. And also, like sometimes we feed it. It's got like microbes living in it, microbial community, which are like... I think they're like consuming the oxygen, and that makes it ready to die. That's what you want. So sometimes we feed the microbes with like a kind of porridge.
Porridge, okay. The microbes like porridge. So once you have all of this, what is the purpose? So you get a very specific and unique color, right? You
get a unique color, and the color has a big range.
Okay.
That's quite unique in natural dyes.
So simply put, it's blue, but it's not blue.
Yeah. I like to think of it like a black and white photography. So like you could have all the colors in the world. And I, as an artist, I like using colorful things. I love color. But it's like when you have a black and white photograph, it's like very rich from just using all the tones in between white and black. And you can almost get that with indigo too, because you have the palest light blue and the darkest dark blue. So it's quite freeing to work as an artist. It's freeing to work within just that realm. It limits you, and it limits you, and that makes it easier to be like creative within those boundaries, I feel.
So how do you achieve those? You brought us a few samples of cloth that you've dyed. How do you achieve those different colors?
Yeah, like I said, shibori is not shibori, colors. How are the colors? So the usually it's the amount of dips. So like you dip it for 2 minutes in the dye, and then you oxygenate it. When it comes out of the dye, it's kind of greeny brown, greeny or yellowy or brown. It's not blue. And then as the oxygen hits the fabric, the color locks on.
Okay.
So it's quite magical to see. And it changes to blue, and it starts with a pale blue, and then you wash it and then you dip it again and you wash it and you dip it again up to like 12, 20 times to get the darkest color.
So this one would have been dipped quite a few times to reach this darker blue.
Yeah, it depends on the health of the vat, but it could have been 8 times or 10 times maybe.
Can you apply this to any kind of fabric?
No. The vats that we use are best for cotton and linen, and some fabrics are easier to dye than others, like thinner fabrics with lots of holes in are easier to dye. Now you can technically dye animal fibers, which is like silk and wool as well, but it takes a bit more work. It's a bit harder. And we can't dye polyester or plastic-based ones.
It doesn't just attach.
It just doesn't attach.
So linen and cotton are the best for you to work with.
Yeah.
And what if we go back? This is a quite traditional craft in Japan, right? Do you have any idea, like, where did it originate? Why and how has it been used?
I think it's too ancient for people to really know. Like, I don't know. I think it's too old. It's like humans have just been doing this.
They found the plant and were like, oh, we can make a...
Yeah, so like it's a very long process. So you think, how did they figure out this long process? But for example, when I'm farming, if I wear white socks and I get the fresh leaf in my shoe and then I walk around all day, then it will have a little blue stain on it.
So someone may have noticed.
So this plant is blue. And then like in Japan, and well, I don't know if if people really know, but like there's a lot of things people say about natural indigo, like it protects you against insects, or it's good for your skin, and it does actually kind of coat the fabric and make it a bit stronger. And Japan specifically, the firefighters used to wear all indigo because they believe it's like a fire retardant, which is possible. So it's like more than just a color. It has it's doing more to the fabric than just coloring it, I think. Yeah.
And in your work, or what maybe some of your clients ask, what are some of the typical items, or are people using it more for clothes or for accessories? Or
I guess clothes is popular. People want to wear. Yeah, the people want to wear it. It work. I mean, my home is like full of like, you got like, indigo pillowcase and curtain and just anything that's fabric can be indigo. But the heavier the thing, the more it's going to cost to dye. So it kind of, curtains is a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's a big piece of cloth.
Yeah,
to work.
and then if I'm thinking business mindedly, like accessories, small things makes more business sense because it's very light. So this earrings I'm wearing is very light, so it doesn't cost a lot to dye, and you can sell it for more. So if I was more
business minded, that makes total sense.
Yeah, but on the whole, I'm not particularly that way inclined. So.
But now, all in all, it's actually very complex, because you came here as an artist and you like to do things which you didn't necessarily know. But now you found a craft you love, but it's not just an artistic endeavor, right? You need to take care of farming, so you need to understand the soil and the plants, but also a lot of science. You've explained that the pH levels, the bacteria,
a lot of stuff that is not my natural habitat.
And just at the very end, you actually get to practice what you call shibori, is that correct?
Yeah.
The actually making the patterns on the cloth using the dye you've created.
Yeah.
So you do it all from scratch.
Yeah.
Yes. What is for you some of the biggest challenges in all of this that are affecting your work?
Well, I guess that personally the harder things for me is like the farming, which is not like, I'm not particularly green-fingered. Thankfully, my partner is more. So he leads the farming side of things, but working in a Japanese summer on the farm, and we have to do it like I have 3 kids, so while they're in daycare, we have to work like those hottest times.
Yes,
I'd like to go like early in the morning, and in the early evening I'd like to work, but I can't because I don't have childcare, so I just have to do it in the hottest time of the day. It's quite
Physically straining.
Hard. Yeah. And then I guess like, the other sides that are hard for me is the business side of it because, we're trying to make a living from it. And that's always hard.
As an artist, it's not easy. But one of the key things that also stands out to me, this is I would say, maybe sustainable way also of producing clothes that are maybe more durable and with colors that stay and that are not necessarily. I have pants that are also bluish color, but you see with the sunlight, after just wearing them for 1 year, they kind of lose a lot of their color.
But I would say that's also was going to happen with a natural color. That's just
natural
that's
fate.
Just life. I think more the thing that you can change about that is your mindset, is that like to take care of your clothes and enjoy the way that the color changes of your jeans. If they're getting lighter, you can dye them again if you wanted, or you can repair them. I'm really into like repairing clothes, and I think people need to reconsider like the way they're consuming new clothes all the time, to like look in your wardrobe and maybe like you can adjust or repair or share some old clothes that you have and keep them being worn for longer.
So do you feel like the indigo dyeing industry is kind of contributing to this as well?
Oh yeah, because one of the services we offer is that you can re-dye your clothes with natural indigo, if it's cotton or linen.
If it's cotton or linen. Is it actually like a popular craft in Japan still? Do many people do this?
So I don't know how it's measured, but so in the Tokushima, which is just over the other bridge to the south of Awaji Island, that's the traditional area for growing indigo in Japan, or it's one of them. And it still has maybe 5 families, 6, that is for generations they've been growing indigo. And traditionally the growers and the dyers were separate businesses.
Okay.
I think.
So you had the farmers and then the
dyers.
The dyers.
But these days, like there's more places, newer places like us who've realized like, oh, if we want to guarantee our supply of Tsukumo, maybe we should grow it ourselves, and we can we can be sure of the quality of
more
it.
More self-reliant.
And it's the end result becomes more meaningful if you know that you planted the seed yourself and grew it and did all of that stuff. So
from start to
appreciate
finish.
that. Yeah.
And what is how is the market though for indigo products? Is it something that maybe younger generations are having a growing interest in?
People are interested in it, and and I think like so. It comes around. Like I mean, the people who come to our shop is all generations actually. There's like. The older people is interested and young people too. So I think indigo has always been popular in Japan, and then abroad more people are more aware of like natural colors, natural paint, natural. It wasn't something that was really talked about when I was younger at university and stuff.
So the overseas awareness is increasing. And
I think so, yeah. And and people thinking about how to
explain and kind of share this tradition a little bit and show that it's here and it exists.
And I think like a lot of people realize like can't really continue is continuing at the moment, like the mass production of
fashion.
Like fast fashion, like and dyeing. Like they used to dye jeans. I think it's true. They used to dye jeans in America, and then like some regulation meant that like, it's too polluting, we can't do it anymore. And now they do it in like Asia, China and stuff. So the pollution has just been moved from there to another place. It's not a good solution. We use a lot of water in our natural indigo, but it's nothing compared to like the chemical dye. They use way more water. So
the water usage to produce garments is leading to a lot
phenomenal.
of waste.
Yeah. So like the wastewater from chemical dye is like kind of toxic, or is it called grey water? I'm not sure. It's not.
How is it then for your dye that you're producing? Once you've used it and washed it,
I can just go back to the earth. So like the liquid at the top of the vat, after about a year, the color fade is decreased, and we just pour away the top water.
Because it's all natural.
Yeah, it's just natural. And then the bottom is like muddy stuff. We just put that on our field for compost. It's like good for the earth. So.
It's like a circular economy on its own.
Yeah, it's totally, it's good. Yeah. And I was going to say that in America, there is a place like a Stony Creek Colors, I think it's called, places that were trying to like, what's it called? Like do what we're doing like on a bigger scale to make like jeans, because like what we're doing is tiny. It's like tiny impact, but there are places trying to do it on a bigger scale, which I think is really interesting and cool. That the future of fashion, it might be like take it from the past. You know, we need to skip this bit in the middle where we just like polluting and go back to where it came from.
So for you now as a small business owner settled in Awaji, do you feel like this has kind of contributed a little bit to also revitalizing local economies and kind of you collaborate with people locally?
Yeah, it's a really nice community in Awaji, in Sumoto city in Awaji, where I am. Interesting people doing interesting things, and I was employed by the local city, Sumoto city, to do Chieki Okoshi Kyōryōkutai, which is a thing where people from outside of that city are invited in to do something interesting and paid, basically.
So the local cities in more rural areas,
rural areas,
inviting people to leave the cities and come set up businesses in those areas.
Yeah. So I was in that program for 3 years, which is the max you can do, and it was really helpful and good. They gave us money, and all I had to do was like make stuff that was fun. I didn't have to start a business. Actually, I could have just done events and I don't know, community stuff. And that was during COVID, so it was a bit tricky. My main mission was supposed to be like invite non-Japanese people to Awaji Island.
Oh, okay.
But the borders were closed, so it wasn't really possible.
During COVID, it was quite tricky.
It was bad timing for that one, but it worked out well for me.
If you're not working and not doing the farming and the dyeing, how is life like on Awaji in a more rural area?
It's really nice. It's a bit of a shock when I come to Osaka like I did today, like, what? Big city. It really feels like a tiny little planet I'm living on, especially because during COVID I barely left the island. I was just, we're just in a little bubble of Awaji bubble, and there's no crowds to avoid. So it was just, you walk everywhere.
You can nearly see the skyscrapers from the island though, right? If on a clear day, can you see Osaka?
If you squint, but it's just, it's quite far away. Everyday life on Awaji is just, it's sweet. There's like great, like most of the food that I buy is from Awaji Island.
Famous for onions?
Famous for onions. I don't buy onions. Like you just receive them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't need to buy them because somebody, like your neighbor, will give you them or whatever. So
they're very flavorful.
They are. And the lettuces, which I'm less excited about, to be honest. The iceberg lettuces. How many of those could you eat? Because usually if a lettuce farmer gives you lettuces, they give you like at least 3. And you're like, I don't need 3 lettuces.
That's a lot of nabe.
Yeah.
A lot of nabe. Yeah. And so now Awaji as a community and a city, do you feel like it's changed since you moved there? You moved there 5 years ago?
I think it's harder to find a property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you wanted to move to Awaji, because I can't remember when, at some point, a big company, Pasona, the HR
Oh, yes,
company,
HR company, they moved the headquarters there and moved like hundreds of people.
Yeah, lots of people. And it's generally, it's just a great place. Everyone wants to move there. And there are a lot of empty houses, but it's hard to find one that people are willing to like, or is ready to rent or sell.
Yeah, because you need to renovate it, right? A lot of them.
Yeah, or
they're not in
people just don't know. Like I had a customer doing a workshop the other day and she said, oh, my husband's parents has an empty house here. It's just sitting there. And I said, oh, you should rent it. Like people are really screaming to get into those houses. But she was like, oh yeah, it's on my to-do list.
And for your own experience in Japan, having lived in Osaka and now Awaji, and started a business that is also involving traditional craft, how do you feel like this has maybe changed your perspective on Japanese culture? Or has it at all?
I think one thing that I appreciate is that people have a lot of respect for craftspeople. It's nice to be...
Yeah, Japan really values this.
Yeah, so I never had like a negative reaction like, what, you're a foreign person doing my Japanese thing. Like if they are having a negative feeling about it, they haven't told me, so it's fine. They're just impressed or they respect it. It's cool.
And it's quite obvious for most that you're doing indigo dyeing because your hands are blue most of the time, right?
My hands are blue, yeah. It will wash off after a few days. It's children like to say, what are you doing? Why are your hands blue? And sometimes older people too. But older Japanese people often have a clue that it's because I'm doing indigo.
And because you're wearing indigo dyed clothing.
Oh yeah, that
accessories.
Too. Often, yeah.
Is this something that is being supported to also by the government as an industry to kind of
I don't know if there's anything specific, but we did get a grant from Hyogo Prefecture when we were starting. And yeah, there's various initiatives. I think it would be hard if you didn't have great Japanese or a Japanese partner.
Yeah, you need to speak the language. Then.
To get those grants and things, or even the job I had, the regional revitalizing job, like I wasn't convinced, like a friend of a friend told me to go to that interview, but I wasn't convinced I'd be able to do it with my level of Japanese, but they were like, oh, it'll be fine, just try.
So how does this program work exactly? Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
I think it's advertised, each city advertises it. Maybe there's a website that gathers them all together. And there's thousands of people doing this role in rural places in Japan. And at least 100 or more, or a few hundred are not native Japanese people.
So it's a role you need to apply for, right?
Yeah, it's a job. Okay. So, and I think it depends on the city if it's if you become a employee or if it's like a freelance. I've forgotten the words they use. So like my one was kind of freelance, which meant I didn't get maternity pay. But if I'd been in another city and I was actually an employee, but maybe I would have had to work harder if I'd done that. I don't know. Anyway, it worked out in the end.
It's a position you apply in that everyone can apply, whether you're Japanese or non-Japanese.
Yes, I think so. And then some of the specifically, so like my one was targeted to I was supposed to be doing like inviting non-Japanese people to Awaji. So they wanted my English skill as part of the job. So some are like that.
Is there something in particular now that you've been doing this craft for a few years that you want to try and you haven't done? Maybe some techniques?
Oh yeah, there's loads of things I want to do that I don't have time for. Just creatively, like just trying out new things. And there's really endless possibilities with what I could make if I had enough hours in the day. So there's lots of things I want to do. This color is a purple silk.
Yes, it's actually not. It's very unique.
As you can see, it's not blue, but this is also from the same plant. And I've seen photos, evidence that people get pinks from this plant.
So how did you achieve this purple?
I don't know how I did it. It's tricky. It's very hard.
So this was basically just trying and playing around with the fabric and the dye and how long you dip it and how many times you dip it and
it's a slightly different process. So aside from the sukumo, there's around the world, like a more common way to extract blue is to put the fresh leaves into water. It's called a water extraction method, or chindenai in Japanese. It's actually what they do in Okinawa. Put the fresh leaves in water and then use something to make it settle, and then extract just the pigment from the bottom, and then you can use the top liquid to make pink, supposedly. And I tried doing that and I got this purple, which was quite cool. And then this color is a kind of aqua turquoisey color. And these both are silk. This you can make with fresh leaves. You don't need to ferment it. So I just brought it to show some variety that you can get from indigo.
So the possibilities are endless.
The possibilities are endless.
It's one type of plant. But even within the methods you share.
Yeah, and then I think traditionally in Japan, like people would have one kind of shibori that they would specifically like get really, really good at, and just do that one. So but I want to try everything, and then so it's just really I want to do. There's another method called like a tsutsugaki, where you get like a mochi paste, mochi rice flour, and steam it and make a paste, and then you can squeeze it like an icing bag to draw, basically, which is appealing to me because I come from illustration background, so I want to draw pictures. Yeah, I want to do more of that too.
Are there exhibitions and events where you get to meet other dyers and kind of compare work and learn from each other?
That would be nice, yeah. There's like is it called Arimatsu? There's a place where they do a lot of shibori, and they have like an indigo event, I think once a year maybe, but I haven't been there yet. And there's like a kind of global community, especially a lot of American people is into indigo, and online, like on Instagram and stuff, I follow people that is doing like all kinds of interesting stuff around the world with shibori and indigo.
So for you personally, what is the main takeaway that you've had that this has brought into your life to learn this by yourself, essentially, and get into farming, get into the creating a color and becoming an artist?
It's really fun, and I'm still surprised that it's working out for the time being. Hope it can last. It's just good that I can get this variety of stuff. Like I don't want to do the same thing every day. So I have a good balance of like working by myself or teaching workshops with people or farming or.
So if someone would like to learn or give it a try, they can come to your studio.
We do workshops regularly. So yeah, people can come and dye stuff that they've brought with them or stuff that we have in stock, and that's fun to share it, because like every time, like the first time you bring it out and it's kind of yellow, and then you wash it and it turns blue, it's just pretty magical. So it's fun to share that
moment where you take it out, it's like, oh no, I failed, and oh yes, actually it's
it turns blue. It's very exciting. Or if you've done a complicated shibori and you pull out the thread at the end, you can't really see what the pattern's going to be till the very end. Then you open it, and it's always exciting to see like, oh, it worked, or it didn't really work, but it's good anyway. That kind of thing.
Thank you very much for sharing so much about indigo farming and dyeing. Do you feel like there's an aspect of it that we haven't really covered or haven't touched that you'd like to share? Maybe I think that's it. We've gone through the overall.
There's plenty to say, but yeah, that's it maybe.
So if people want to find your work and visit your studio, it's in Awaji.
Yes.
You are also available online.
Yeah. So it's our shop is called Ai. Ai is a Japanese word for indigo. It's not the same as the love.
Different kanji.
Different kanji. Ai, and Instagram is ai.blue, I think.
We'll make sure to link everything down in the description.
and you can visit. At the moment, our online shop just sell to inside Japan. And you can visit our shop or come and book a workshop anytime. Or we also dye things. If you don't want to dye it yourself, you can just give us the thing and we'll dye it and give it back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sally, for coming from Awaji all the way to Osaka and sharing us a little bit your insights into this beautiful craft, but also a little bit about life in Awaji, which clearly sounds very nice and more peaceful compared to the busy streets of Osaka.
Yeah, it's easy to get there. Just a couple of hours public transport.
Thank you again. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for watching. This was Unpacking Japan. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Goodbye.